up, guys? This is Tom Bricker from Cars Daily, going out for a drive review and a very fun car today, the 2019 Bullitt Mustang. Very, very cool machine. That was in normal mode, believe it or not. The exhaust is very, very vocal. Let's go into Sport Plus, and that's automatically going to put the exhaust on Sport as well. So press the pony button, exhaust mode. Yeah, so we'll go to Sport. So we'll leave it in Sport, and then we'll do it in track on the way back. Oh man, so this Mustang is really, really fun. I've had a great week driving it, and I'm not excited to give it back tomorrow. So let's talk about what the new Bullitt Mustang is, what's great about it, and then some wish list items. So when you know, excuse me, I got tongue-tied there. When they announced the new Bullitt for 2019, I was really worried that it was like, you know, just a stickers and a color special edition kind of thing. And that, you know, those kind of things get really, really dull. You know, special editions are much cooler, in my opinion, when they have mechanical changes that are different. This Bullitt definitely qualifies for that. So it's got 20 extra horsepower from this 5-liter V8, coming in at 480 now, and actually arriving at 7,000 RPM as its power peak instead of 7,500 for the regular Mustang GT. There's some other cool tweaks for Bullitt that include like a wider 87mm throttle body and a different way of casting the aluminum engine block. They use the GT350 technique, so it's got the plasma transfer wire arc cylinder liners, which is pretty cool. Helps liberate that extra power and just make it extra free spinning. So there's definitely some mechanical upgrades beyond that. You've got heavy-duty suspension in a nod to the amazing car chase that this vehicle is named after, and then MagneRide suspension as available as an option and equipped on this car. And wider tires all around, like 1.5 inch wider in the back, 1 inch wider in the front. And then spoiler deletes and unique front grille. So no Ford badges anywhere on the exterior of the vehicle. And then of course two colors. You got Highland Green, which is the classic Bullitt color, and then it's also available just in gloss black. So extremely cool looking car. I'm a big fan, and people have loved it this week. So I want to go out and show you guys, you know, what's so great about this machine. So, based on the Mustang GT Premium, we've got basically all of the new and amazing high-revving nature of this generation of Mustang is alive and intact, as well as with the standard limit slip differential. I mean, this is a very, very good handling vehicle these days, and it makes it even more fun in the straight line to know that it's a real champ around corners too. This V8 does have a ton of torque off the line, but it kind of makes you work for it. The 420 foot-pounds of torque arrives at like 4,600 RPM, so it's a little bit, you know, you do need to rev this thing out, and it loves to rev, so it's a delight to do that. It's got some great engine sonics. See if we can hear that from outside, but just some great rev matching too that you can either turn on or off. It sounds ballistic. And I actually watched the car chase last night, the scene from Bullitt, which is like 15 or 20 minutes long, and it's so well done. I mean, that's the reason that Steve McQueen and this Bullitt Mustang have become so iconic, is because it's just an amazingly well done car chase. They drive the cars hard. I mean, they're doing crazy jumps and landings all over San Francisco, and then some high-speed chase stuff that's just really, really gnarly as he's chasing a Dodge Charger, and then eventually rams it, and it crashes and explodes after they were like shooting at him with a shotgun from the Charger. So it really sounds like this car, I think they must have studied the sonics of the classic Bullitt, and just really really brought that to life in this this latest generation. Oh man, a couple drops of rain. All right, well, we're not doing anything crazy with the traction control, but we'll have to be a little bit more careful. So some of the really awesome stuff about Bullitt, and where it comes in the Mustang lineup is it's basically right at the top between the top Mustang GT and the Shelby GT350. So, you know, being able to really bridge that gap is awesome, because the Shelby is so amazing, and it's so amazing that it kind of shades the Mustang GT in my book. Awesome Brembo brakes, and then of course adjustable exhaust as well. Yeah, so being able to be between the, let's go to quiet and just let you sample it. So it's still, you know, it's still this monster V8, but in quiet mode it's definitely a lot more discreet, and a lot nicer for like early in the morning, or if you're, you know, going to church or something, and you really don't want the loudest car people have ever seen. So yeah, this Bullitt is really cool because of all of its history, and then the mechanical tweaks are really just icing on the cake. It is pricey. It comes in with a base price of about $48,000, and it's only available in a 6-shift and only available in the hardtop. And then from there we've got the Bullitt electronics group on here that has like active safety features, no active cruise, but almost everything else, or active lane keep. But it's got blind spot and parking sensors and some other good stuff, as well as this new 12-speaker 1,000-watt Bang & Olufsen stereo, which sounds really cool, and is a huge upgrade. There's a big sub in the trunk. Oh, it's so speedy. Very speedy machine. Mostly, it's just majors and fun. This car is extremely, extremely fun. And it makes anybody more. It can make the shyest person in the world a really aggressive driver, because it's just so fun to flog it. I'm really enjoying myself, in case you can't tell. So what are the wish list items for the Bullitt Mustang? Well, there are a couple things going on here that I would tweak. I mean, at this point, the interior of this car, after it came out in 2015, the interior is getting like a little bit dated, and it looks like the plastics and stuff are pretty low quality. Is an issue. Oh, sorry, I forgot to finish on pricing. Oh yeah, so we got the electronics group, and then we have a magnetic ride for $1,500, and then the cooled seats for another $1,500, I believe. So that takes us up to about like $53, $54. The only option this car doesn't have are the Recaro buckets, which are great, but they aren't available in with cooling. So kind of a toss-up there. These factory seats are still pretty good, and the cooling is an awesome thing to have down here in the South. Is really great. It's really changes the entire experience of driving this car, because you're not not engine braking, but you just have perfect balance going into corners. And you can turn that off if you wanted more engine braking, but I don't know why you would. Okay, so the cabin materials are pretty lousy these days. I mean, it's just sort of like old Ford. It's not their latest sort of like soft touch aesthetic that they're going for. This is all like hard plastic for the most part. The leather for the steering wheel feels great, and of course this Bullitt badge is great, near and dear to my heart. But the leather on the seats is like pretty crummy, and there's just some other stuff with the cabin that means that it could really use an upgrade. And the only other major thing that I would say is oops, just a second. So other wish list items, I really, I don't have too much. But God, I'm forgetting what was the other thing I was going to say. Oh yeah, basically about the transmission. Okay, so this is obviously only available in a stick. So this is the Jetrag 6-speed that's in the Mustang GT, and it is good. But as you can tell, it's hard to really do sort of really fast upshifts and really satisfying foot on the floor upshifts. And that's something that the GT350R really excels at. And that transmission is actually from a totally different supplier, from Tremac. So it's obviously like a lot more expensive for that manual versus this one. But it would be really nice if, you know, in a wish list scenario, like, yeah, I wish it had the GT350's transmission, because it's just better in a lot of ways. And that's about it. I mean, Mustang is so cool, and this Bullitt Mustang is one of the coolest ones of all. Alrighty, hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you guys next time. This is Tom Burkhardt from Car Revs Daily in the 2019 Ford Mustang Bullitt.